So Little Red Reiki is very, very used to the cosplay scene and is effectively a cosplay veteran. I think that's a fair terminology to use these days because you have been around for an awful long time.
Yeah.
So the other guest that I am joined to today is somebody very, very special. We've been looking through all of their costumes. They look absolutely stunning. I cannot wait to chat to this guest. So please give a massive warm welcome to Fox in Sox Cosplay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello. Are you excited to be here?
I'm excited. I'm kind of nervous, but I'm excited.
Don't be nervous. You'll be fine. So how long have you been in the cosplay scene for then? Because you've got some really cracking images. I can't wait to show them a bit later on.
I've probably only been cosplaying properly and attending cons for about a year. So not long at all, really.
That really surprises me. Like, when you see this work, guys, you'll not believe it's only been a year. Some really good quality stuff
I've
here.
managed to like squeeze a lot into a short space of time.
You have? Like, that's a lot of costumes to do in 12 months. Do you just get home, like, from work or something and just sit there and sew and that's all you do? Like, don't go out, no
yeah, cosplay is like my main hobby. It's pretty much what I do. No
worries. Well, that's absolutely brilliant. So we've been chatting a little bit to you guys about what's been going on in regards to cosplays that you've been doing last week. And it was reminded to us that it is Costume and Play's second year. So it is our second birthday. But technically speaking, it's also our first, because from January onwards, we are now an official bona fide company, which is a bit scary. It means that I'm now a CEO boss lady as opposed to just boss lady, and I spend my Monday evenings in a duck costume. We've not changed that much, guys. So to celebrate our birthday, we have a fantastic video to show you explaining everything that we've done and what we do over the past 2 years. Absolutely crazy, isn't it? We all started this fantastical journey all together in another event way back, way back. And we just used to crew, and we all basically came together and decided to go and give it a stab, being a little kind of community group together, which was a little bit weird, and it was a lot of fun as well. And then eventually, a couple of years ago, we decided to make it a little bit more official, and we turned ourselves into a business. And as of January the 26th, we're going to end up being the Queen, because I still really want to celebrate March the 25th, which is when we became kind of our own business 2 years ago. But January the 26th is the date that we became a company. So we are technically speaking very, very old, because we've been together for a long time. But we're also very, very young, because it was January, the 26th of this year. So it's quite confusing. So we are like the Queen. We're going to have two birthdays. One birthday to commemorate us coming together, and the second to commemorate us being a company. So that's really exciting. Next up, we're going to have the cosplay news, which Adam is going to tell us a little bit about.
Alrighty then. So in the last week or so, there's been fun developments in the world of where should you put your photographs?
Oh, yeah.
So at a Birmingham event recently, a load of photographs were taken by a photographer named Mr. Ollie Millington, who then proceeded to sell them to the Daily Mail. So we can all tell how fun this is going to turn out.
Basically, the Daily Mail article was featured around MCM Birmingham, and it's got a lot of cosplayers quite upset because the nature of the article was entitled "Daring Female Cosplayers in Racy Outfits." And it features a load of cosplayers that are showing a little bit of skin, a few tattoos, things like that, that are just cosplaying same as any cosplayer would do, and it collates them together in this really quite faux pas article. The title is "Thousands of comic book fans flock to Birmingham's Comic Con today for the annual sci-fi celebration. Stealing the show, one brave Teen Titans fan fashed some serious underboob as she flaunted her curves. In the battle to be crowned best dressed, she was given a run for her money by another Teens Titans fan. So there's a few problems with this. First off, it pits floor costumes who, they're not there to compete. They're there to come together as a community and enjoy the art of cosplay together as a community together. And they're not there to compete with each other. They're not entering a masquerade. These are floor costumes. That's not how it works. So I think that there is the problem there with the idea of, it's kind of harking to the idea of fancy dress competition. Crowned best dressed is very kind of, American toddlers and tiaras, kind of everybody's pitting themselves against each other, which really paints the cosplay scene in a very negative light. It's the fact that the sexuality of cosplayers, such as having serious underboob, flaunting curves, are the things that are used to judge and compare other cosplayers to other cosplayers. Once again, that's a complete load of trollop. I don't know anybody that looks around the floor and goes, "Oh, that costume's better because, she's got her boobs out, whereas the other one doesn't." I think that's really quite despicable, to be honest with you. The whole point of cosplay is that it's about a group of people sharing the love and sharing skill sets together in terms of prop making and sewing and choreography, in terms of what they do. Also to have fun. Little Mel has a very good point there. It's got nothing to do with this kind of competitive vibe that the Daily Mail is trying to put on. I know there is competition in cosplay, but there is a specific place that has been formed at an event with judges that don't judge you based on boobs. They judge you based on the quality of your costuming work and the quality of the work that you've put into it. So yeah, guys, what do you think about this whole article thing? Tell me your thoughts. Little Mel, what are your thoughts about this?
I think I've read it. I'm not happy with it. I know some of the cosplayers that are actually in the article, and I just think that people shouldn't be putting articles like that. They should be putting articles saying, "Look at these amazing cosplayers. They've probably gone out of their comfort zone and stuff like that. They look absolutely amazing and everything else." It is just to have fun, right? I don't go to cosplay to conventions to get judged and stuff like that, even though I do enter masquerades. That's something else. But I go to have fun. I'm not there to have the best cosplay or anything like that. I don't see why people have to take pictures and stuff like that and put articles up like that. It's not going to help anyone. It's just going to give them a bad name as well, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think there's some really, really excellent points there. I think to top this off as well, just to add a little bit to that, people really feel that you need to find exciting ways almost to push these articles out so people will read them. That is entirely untrue. When you actually spend a little bit of time and look at these cosplays and look at the costumes that are putting into it, there's a very big reason why cosplay pages are so popular, and it's not just due to some flash, that there is no article on Facebook that pops up with a particular title. It pops up on Facebook as a really well featured image, and that's all it is. And these are still really, really popular. So if the Daily Mail was to simply publish articles that featured cosplayers in the best light, it would not affect the readership, exactly as Little Mel says. If they focus on the positives of cosplay, people will still read the article, because at the end of the day, cosplay is an exceptionally visual medium. Foxy and Socks, what do you think about all of this going on at the moment?
I was actually kind of relieved when I saw the article, only because I had my picture taken by that photographer on the Saturday, and only found out when a friend of mine messaged me and was like, oh, have you seen this? Like, I was looking through all these pictures and yours is in there. I just thought you should know. So I was relieved that I didn't get featured in the article, because I was wearing a bit of a skimpy cosplay. But I feel so bad for those who are, because those cosplayers, those women especially, are being portrayed in a way that they weren't trying to present themselves in. They're just trying to be there. They're just trying to have fun, show off the work that they've put in, the effort they've done. Like that Starfire cosplayer, the body paint was amazing. They're just trying to show off those skills, and instead they're being portrayed as almost kind of bimbo-y. And it's really offensive, and it's not what it's about, and it gives cosplay a bit of a bad name from people who don't know the truth of it, people who only read those kind of articles, that are only getting this very one-sided view of what cosplay is. So it's, yeah, I think it's terrible. I don't agree with it at all.
I completely agree with the fact that you disagree with the article, especially with cosplay being shown in such a negative light, as you say. I think the other problem is that somebody has profited from this. A photographer has gone away, sold their images, and made money insulting and slandering other people's costumes. And that is such a massive negative thing. It is very, very rare that we call out people by name for their actions on streams like this, obviously, and in general. But the fact that this bloke called Ollie has gone around and profited off of something so negative and disgusting, I think is beyond a joke. So hopefully we can bring some cos positivity to the world. That is why we are here, cos positivity, and we're going to be sharing some fantastic cosplays now that you guys have done from the guests, to show you guys that cosplay is absolutely awesome. You don't need to have some massive amazing costume. You can still have something that is simple in terms of the elements that it takes to put together, and it still looks pretty badass. Like, just your expression here is so badass. You are definitely a wizard in this picture.
Yes.
So as well, we do have you as Arwen from Lord of the Rings, which is an absolutely fantastic composed shot of you. Talk to me a little bit more about this costume.
The idea for Arwen came around because I actually went to a local medieval festival with some friends of mine, and my friend Hannah, she made dresses for us each to wear, sort of medieval style dresses, and mine was beautiful and I loved wearing it the whole day. I was just swishing around in it and feeling like a princess, and decided that I wanted to cosplay one of the few female characters in Lord of the Rings, and I wanted to do this dress because I've always loved it in the movies. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and she said that she would make it for me as my 21st birthday present, which was extremely generous of her because it took her a really long time. And she did all this like embroidery on the top of the bodice, and she fitted it to me about 5 times to make sure it was right, and she put so much effort into it, and I love her for it. And I've only worn this dress for one day at MCM in October, but I can't wait to wear it again and shoot it some more because I just feel so elegant in it.
I completely agree, and I think Doz has spoken out and come forward and said that Doz turned down an article for a website that was entitled "The 100 Hottest Cosplayers" because it would be toxic and a cancer to the community to write something like that. So massive well done to you, Doz. And images like this and costumes like this, when they marry up together, really show the skill sets and the time and the dedication of what cosplay is. And as you explain about the fitting and the time it's taken to produce something like this, and you look really elegant, really beautiful. And it's not about being sexy, it's not about, you know, getting your boobs out and stuff like that. I'm not against anybody that wants to do that, but this is a massive example of how you can showcase cosplay, have it still be very interesting, very fascinating, very creative, even to people that don't even cosplay, that may not even know about the genre, and it still looks fantastic. And I would look at that if I saw that in the Daily Mail with the article that says, you know, fantastic costumers hit the convention floor, I would read that even more so than I would read this horrible article basically defiling women, let's be honest. So
I
yeah,
mean, I was just going to say, to, you know, the point you were making about, obviously no one's got anything against cosplayers that do sexy costumes. I've done a few and I really enjoyed doing them, but at the same time I've done some like deeply unsexy cosplays and also really enjoyed wearing those. And I think that that's the thing I love about cosplay, is the diversity of characters that people choose to do and the way that people choose to portray them. You know, you can see someone one day looking, you know, wearing a sort of maybe slightly scanty superhero outfit and they look amazing. And you see them the next day and they're wearing like a full armor build and they also look amazing. It doesn't, there's no correlation between the amount of clothes you're wearing and how good your cosplay is. And that's the thing that I love about cosplay.
That is an excellent point. So as well, Little Mel, you are what I would consider to be a character cosplayer. You've done a load of cosplays in your time, but the one that you are most famous for is your RWBY cosplay. Talk to me a little bit about that, and when it comes to portraying your character, as Fox and Sox was explaining, how do you go about portraying this character, and why do you love this character so much?
Right, so basically, I first got into this character from the trailer from RWBY. Someone showed me the trailer and I absolutely loved it. I've always had a thing for Little Red Riding Hood gone badass. But the main thing about Ruby was the fact that she's this young, innocent girl, she's an innocent girl that just wants to show people that she can do things. She can protect people, do good in the world and everything else. And that has always been my inspiration for Ruby. She seems like a strong character that has a lot of growing up to do, but she's just so innocent and loving and stuff like that. And yeah,
I think that is excellent as well. The fact that you've spent so much time to portray this character and carry this character. But there are also other cosplays that you have done as well. A brilliant example is your Sarah Farron from Final Fantasy, and all of your Pokemon cosplays, which I also adore. I think it's really amazing with you as well, because you're very versatile when it comes to cosplaying. But yeah, I think the characters that suit you the best, and forgive me for saying this, but are the cute characters, because it's like, so adorable.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people have told me that I do well with the cute, adorable characters. And the thing is that I do the cute, adorable characters because they're the ones that I can connect to. They're the ones that have the personalities, like my personality, very bubbly, loud, and everything else. And so, yeah, it was absolutely amazing to be able to portray them. So, yeah.
That makes sense. Fox in Socks, would you say that there was one character that you've given to us that is more so in touch with your personality, or perhaps there was a part of your personality that you wanted to potentially explore with the character?
I mean, all the characters that I choose to cosplay, I generally choose characters based not so much on their look, but on how I relate to them, or, you know, if I really, really love a character, even if their outfit isn't necessarily what you would call interesting, I will probably cosplay them anyway, because I'll have a lot of fun doing it. My Jay cosplays and Jay and Silent Bob, that one was
Love that costume.
That one was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, because I did it with a friend who was my friend Tony was my Silent Bob, and obviously the character is really loud and rude and crude, and I can be a little bit like that, but it was nice to be able to sort of like let go and really get into that character. It was a lot of fun to do.
I think it's a great character as well. Like, I've seen some other. I really wish I could have seen your version, but I've seen other Jay and Silent Bob cosplays at the event, and they will be so in character, and it makes me really, really happy to see. And they'll usually just kind of be lurking around, like you'll just see them like lurking around the convention hall. They'll just have like a boombox or something, and they'll just be lurking together or nodding their heads or doing something. So yeah, I think I really love this costume. I love the fact that there's such a diversity in terms of cosplay as well, in terms of the characters that you guys choose and why you choose them and all the differences. So we're gonna move on to speaking a little bit more about you guys and what it is that you guys do in terms of cosplay. And this is your opportunity to pimp yourself. So Little Mel, tell me a little bit about yourself. Pimp yourself. Why do you love cosplay? Why are you here?
You know I'm never good at this stuff. I love cosplay because, well, I've always loved cosplay because I've been able to meet so many different people. I've been able to promote cosplay and stuff like that. And I love the community. It's the community that does it for me. The community that everyone supports everyone most of the time and just sort of all just jumps in and stuff. And it's just all one big happy family when on a good day, of course. But yeah. I'm not really good at talking about myself, so yeah.
We love you, Little Mel. Love, 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 love. Fox in Socks, why do you love cosplaying?
I mean, when I first got into cosplay, I got into it because of friends I had who'd been doing it for a while. And I thought, I'll give it a go too. I was like, dress up? Like, how fun is that? And I was like, this just looks like a lot of fun. I was like, I always used to see people cosplaying and say they look like they're having an excellent time. And then I started doing it, and I got so obsessed with being able to portray these characters that I love. And it was like an extra step in showing how much I loved a character. You know, I could like talk about them till the cows come home, but then I could cosplay them and really show everyone that I, really, really love this character. And since I've been cosplaying, I said it, I've only really been cosplaying properly for about a year. I've met so many wonderful people. I've made so many really good friends through cosplay. And, I have friends all over the country now, all over the world, that I never thought I would have. It's just excellent. That's my favourite thing about cosplay.
That's really awesome. So, guys, we're going to delve a little bit deeper into what makes you you. And both of you have really flagged up the community element here. So Adam has some questions for you now that he's going to use to get to know a little bit more about you guys.
Right. So you've already told us what actually got you into cosplaying and really what your favourite parts of it are of playing the characters. Question is, what is the most embarrassing thing that's actually happened to you regarding the cosplays you've done? Little Mel?
Okay. I think the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened, and it is actually with my Ruby cosplay. I think it was the second convention I was cosplaying Ruby, and I went up on stage and stuff like that, and it was I think it was an MCM, and I didn't tighten my corset properly, and the corset full on pinged off while I was on stage.
Oh,
And I was still in the process of making parts of it, so it all just fell apart, and I just sort of stood there with just my petticoat and my black top on, and I was just like, hi, because I had a mic as well. I was just like, oh dear. So yes, that was embarrassing.
everyone has wardrobe malfunctions eventually. Fox and Socks, anything that jumps to mind for you?
I did my my most recent version of Harley Quinn, and I had a cosplay shoot with the guys from Fresh Crew Studios out and about in Southampton, sort of around the town and in the parks and stuff, getting some location shots, and it was a lot of fun. Obviously, my costume was kind of like a leotard and some long socks, so there were quite a lot of stares and people who weren't really sure what was going on, and there was like kids shouting at me and stuff, and there was an ice cream van, and we went up to the woman at the ice cream van and we're like, oh, can we get some shots, alongside the van? And she was like, yeah, that's fine, no problem. And I had a coat on because it was kind of chilly, and I took my coat off to take the shots, and we took one or two shots, and she ran over and she was like, no, you can't have your picture taken with the van, I didn't realise what you were wearing. She was like, I'll get in trouble with my boss, you have to leave, and sort of like ushered us away. So that was a bit embarrassing.
Not a lot you could do about that, though.
Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of shots before she got mad, so...
So moving from the less ideal to the more fun sections, have you ever met anyone famous while you were cosplaying? Little Mel?
Last at Brom MCM, I met Vic Monogna, the voice of Uncle Crow. And yeah, and I was wearing my Volume 4 version of Ruby, and he really liked it. So yeah, that was quite amazing, to be honest.
Always good to meet someone who's such a successful and prolific voice actor while cosplaying from a show they've worked on.
Yep. Internally squeaking still.
Fox and Socks, any you've met?
Yeah, I've met a couple. I met John Campling at a small little convention in Eastbourne where I used to live, sort of mini-con, and he came both years that I went, and I met him and spoke to him because I was in my Tonks cosplay, and obviously he was in Harry Potter, and I ended up having a tea duel with him at the steampunk section of the con, which was quite fun. And also, I've met a couple of other actors from Harry Potter. I met Dave Prowse actually. The first cosplay I ever did was a very cheaply bought slave Princess Leia, obviously, and I wore that to a con because I lost a bet actually. And Dave Prowse happened to be there, and I met him and had my picture taken with him, and he'd said that he liked my costume, and that gave me a lot of confidence, obviously, because I didn't feel too great in it. So yeah, a couple of nice little celebrity meets, mainly at smaller cons. I haven't met any celebrities at big cons, actually.
I suppose with large cons, they tend to control their guests a lot more and keep them from mingling so much.
Yeah, at the mini cons, everyone was just sort of wandering around, and it was quite nice.
So I think we might already have covered it, but have you got any really memorable events or moments that you've had while in cosplay?
I would say when I went on stage and did a full skit at Insomnia 59. That was my most memorable moment because I'd never done a skit ever and was super nervous and I wanted to back out, but Jess was like, no, you're not allowed to back out. You have to do it. And
you're coming back to do a skit for spring, aren't you, little Mel?
Yeah, something like that.
I can't believe
Not even tried to pull out and she's already doing it again.
Oh, dear. And so, yeah, that was, I think that was my most memorable moment. Because it just ended up so nicely and I actually nearly tripped on stage and no one noticed and I was just like, yes,
did you?
It's beautiful.
Everybody in chat is like, we remember your skit, little Mel, come back. I'm not even kidding, you should go and look at the Twitch chat. I'm being dead serious.
Or given what Doz has just said, you may not want to look. 40,000 people attending.
Oh, yeah. Doz is asking if anybody's going to Colossal Con, which is in Ohio. Sadly, I believe that everybody here is UK-based, like in the chat as well, which is a shame, as it's in an indoor water park, which sounds absolutely fantastic. Like, I would love to go to that. What about you guys? Like, what would you say your favourite convention of last year has been, and what conventions are you looking forward to this year?
I really enjoyed October MCM last year because it was a bit of a weird time for me personally. So I went along not really expecting too much, but ended up meeting some really amazing people and having a really, really excellent time. So it completely turned things around for me, which was great. So I have really fond memories of that.
That's the way a con should be, though, shouldn't it? It's all about like meeting really cool people and enjoying just kind of meeting up and being around with friends. Like, that's what I love about conventions. So, what about you, little Mel? What conventions are you looking forward to? This is not a loaded question, by the way. You can say whatever you like.
Okay, but I am looking forward to either Insomnia summer or winter this year. To be honest, yeah. Because again. I am.
Sorry,
I am looking forward to that one as well. But I'm looking forward to those ones a bit more because me and Sam will be gaming and stuff like that. So
yeah, sense. I think it's going to be a lot more relaxing for you.
Yeah.
Sweet. So, guys, is there anything that you would say because you guys are all flagged up that you really love the cosplay community? Have you got any tips to get into the cosplay? How does somebody start out in the community is what I'm trying to say.
I actually can't remember how I started out. So I can't say, unfortunately.
I mean, I started out because I had like one friend who was really into cosplay, and then they introduced me to other people, and I sort of stood on the fringes for a while, worried about cosplaying because I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do it. I'm not going to do it well. I was really self-conscious. But then once I started, I couldn't get enough. And I think my biggest tip would be, you know, if you have an idea of a costume you want to do, don't worry about whether you think you're going to necessarily do it as well as other people or as well as other cosplayers that you've seen. You know, everybody starts somewhere. So my biggest advice would be to just go for it. And, you know, if it doesn't turn out the way you like the first time, you can always improve.
That is so true and some really good advice. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go for a short 5-minute break. When we come back, we're going to be interviewing the guys a little bit more. We're going to be having the quickfire question round, which is going to be nice and exciting. We'll also be talking a little bit more about cosplayer of the week and a little bit about what events are going to be coming up. So we'll see you in a few minutes, guys. Also, shout and love to Jenny Moo. Bye.